the enjoyment of that fresh air going out with the football, especially the summer nights. I remember those, I could stay out there till 10 o'clock at night really and just keep kicking the ball into the goal. If I had a little injury, it would just be a bag of ice, and it was always the RICE method, which is rest, ice, compress, elevate, and I lived by that for ages.
Hello and welcome back to the Squad Goal Sofa, where we are focusing on the greater game, where we want you guys at home to make one healthier action per week. And we ask our England Lions and our Lionesses to come and set you challenges and to talk about their experiences in the game. And we are lucky enough to be joined by Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod, how are you?
I'm good, all good, thank you.
Amazing. And how has your time been on camp so far?
No, good, obviously, still early days. Obviously with the summer and meeting back up again, it's great to see everyone. So it's always nice to be back here.
And what does a typical day on camp look like for you then?
Wake up, obviously, a bit of breakfast, go see the lads, see who's down there, get a coffee before training, maybe a few of us, and go sit and have a coffee. Go down to the gym, bit of individual prep stuff that you do for different things. I do stuff for my ankles because I've got weak ankles, so a bit of that ankle work, and then usually a little meeting before training, and then out training, which could be as long as 2 hours, depends on what we're doing in terms of the session, and then a bit of lunch again with the lads, and then probably another coffee. So very, very social, and I think that's a really good, important thing when we're here, is really one big group and spending as much time together as we can.
A lot of movement in there, I notice, and that is something that we do try and encourage as part of the greater game. How important is it for you? You mentioned your specific ankle work and gym work and stuff. How important is it to stay active away from the pitch?
Yeah, no, it's really important, and of course you have to find that balance of on the pitch and away from the pitch, but ultimately the things you do off the pitch helps you to perform on the pitch. So for me, yeah, it's really important, and sometimes it can only take 10 minutes a day that you do, but it's specific stuff tailored for you, that you need, that you work with people to help you, and like I said, those things off the pitch really help you on the pitch.
Has it always been the case for you, when you were young, when you were a grassroots player or coming up through academy football, has that always been important?
Yeah, really important. When I was younger, I was at Hereford, so it wasn't a proper kind of system, as like a proper academy system, but still had the basic fundamentals of what you needed for your body. And obviously as you get older, the body slows down, unfortunately. No, it's important, because playing football is obviously difficult week in, week out. At the highest level, it's doing everything you can to get your body ready for the games on the weekends, or if you have 3 games a week. So for me, I think recovery is a really big part of my game.
And you talked about those basic fundamentals. What kind of are they? What were they growing up for you? Well,
for me, if it was basic fundamentals, if I had a little injury, it would just be a bag of ice, and it was always the RICE method, which is rest, ice, compress, elevate, and I lived by that for ages. So yeah, like I said, I think when I was younger, didn't have the academy going through an academy, so I didn't see it in that light. It was I was at a non-league team, so I saw it the non-league way, which was an eye-opener. But it was the best time I had, being at a young age and being involved with a first team changing room.
Amazing. And you've obviously taken that path, non-league football, it's got to where you are now. Did you set your own personal fitness goals outside of what was set for you as a football team?
I think as a player and as a person, you always want to be fit, you always want to be available for selection, and I think that was the main thing me growing up. I just loved playing football. You'd have little injuries, but you'd always soldier through them, because the love of football and the joy that football brought you was just got through it. So I was touch wood lucky that I didn't have any really serious injuries. I had a couple here and there that I dealt with, but for me, I just enjoyed playing the football. I think that helped such a long way, and to where I've got to now, I think.
Great stuff. And so what can our young people watching at home, have you got any tips on the life choices, I guess, that they could make alongside their grassroots football to make sure that they're moving well?
Yeah, just make sure you're going out and enjoying football. Of course, you have training and stuff as well, but I was always, where I lived, there was a little park, and you'd have your mates around there, and it wasn't, a full-size pitch. It was a little 5-a-side pitch, and the old basketball court, it wasn't grass, it was concrete patio on the floor. So yeah, you'd have a few scuffly knees along the way. But no, when you've got like a group of your friends, and to be honest, even when my friends weren't there, I'd go out there on my own, and just the enjoyment of that fresh air, going out with the football. You know, especially the summer nights. I remember those. I could stay out there till 10 o'clock at night really, and just keep kicking the ball into the goal. There was a basketball hoop obviously set up, and it was trying to get the ball into the basketball hoop from one end to the other. So just little things like that which I think are so important just for your brain and everything, you know, to get out and just enjoy playing. Of course you have that competitive mode of playing in a team and playing for something, but then it's important as well to have that kind of with your friends, having a laugh, and also if you want to go out on your own as well, have a laugh with yourself, and just have that feeling of enjoying kicking the football, I guess.
Love that. Great messages to send as well, and I hope that concrete basketball court isn't where your ankle problems came from.
No, fortunately not.
And in light of that then, let's set the guys at home a challenge to do. Maybe it's from one end of the basketball court
yeah, it could
to
be
the
linked
other.
with the basketball court. So
let's set them a challenge that they can do at home to move well.
So I'm going to go practice top bins.
Great stuff.
That's a good one.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the challenge, Jarrod. Thank you for joining us on the Squad
me.
Goals sofa. It's fantastic to have you and talk about how to move well. Keep across our Greater Game content, our Greater Game resources online. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments, and we look forward to having you back next time.